Hey guys, welcome to another exciting week of fantasy football predictions and real life predictions. Let's start off with the recaps from last week. So, what do you guys think about last week?
I didn't think Josh Allen would have more completions to the New York Jets than Aaron Rodgers did, that's for sure.
And
I
the
think
Jets win.
And the Jets win, yeah.
I think that I'm very happy I went with Sunshine instead of Burrow.
At least we
Although
won,
we know
right?
Burrow will bounce back, but wow, I didn't expect Burrow to have such a bad game either.
I honestly didn't expect Kansas City to lay such an egg either on the opening game.
If you had told
That
me
helped.
Kelsey was out, Jones was out, I probably would have picked the Lions on the spread. I mean, alone, but yeah,
But I mean, you go look at the box at that, and I mean, that one interception Mahomes threw was
in his
basically
hands.
not his. Yeah, that
Correct.
wasn't his fault.
Yeah, so he went. If you look at it, he went like 200, I think 250 yards. He led the team in rushing. He threw two touchdowns, the one pick that was hit him in the hands. Throw in Kelsey, add another 150 yards. He's back up to where he normally is, and probably two more touchdowns to Kelsey, right? Like, I think that's the average is
Correct.
151 or two touchdowns, right?
Let's be honest. Had Kelsey played, it's a whole different ball game.
Correct. Which is, I
It's
think,
just,
what we all. I mean, on Wednesday we didn't know, so that one's one of those you're like, yeah, it happens.
I mean,
Um,
yeah.
the Falcons, they won, but I still think they're exact. You're not going to win throwing 100 yards a game. Um, that's not going to happen. The Bengals start off terribly slow. They did it last year, and they're saying it's the rain and all that. I wonder if its calf
Well,
is worse off.
5 out of their last six week one games. Is it 4 or 5 out of their last week one games they've lost? By the way.
I think it's
Correct.
5. I think the 5 was the number I heard.
And
So
only like two of those years they were bad. So
knowing that beforehand, like that, this is all done research, post game, right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
had we
Why?
done that beforehand, I probably would have chosen the Bengals either. You go with the odds,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. Um, Jackson Indy. That one was that took a weird turn in the middle, and I was worried for half a second. Um, Tampa Bay versus Vinny. The Vikings are exactly who we think they are, right? That's the kind of team. Only it's like the anti last year, where they're going to lose every game by one score this time. Um,
Well, I think we saw one of Baker's 3 good games this season that he's gonna have.
it just happened the
He,
first week.
I mean, his stats weren't horrible,
Mm-mm.
but they weren't great either, right? He didn't throw any picks. He only threw for 173 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he played inspired, right? Like it's that first date with that new chick, and 5 days later you bust a farting in your car, and you're like, oh man, I don't want this chick no more. You get what I mean? Or is that a bad analogy?
I'm
We just
sure it's a
lost
terrible
viewers.
analogy. We just lost yours. Um, so Titans and the Saints. It looked like the same old car and the same old Titans, right? So um, don't
Well,
see neither one of those made me go hmm.
I,
Um,
I think we were right though with the Titans as far as Derrick Henry.
yeah. Well, it's
His
week
time
one.
has come.
He's also a little slow starter because when you're that old, it takes a while to get those bones loosened, right?
Yeah, but
FYI, my
but
analogy for Baker Mayfield was, you know how some people use filters on Facebook. He's a quarterback unfiltered.
Oh, that's a nice one, like an Instagram filter. Like,
Yeah,
gotcha.
he
yeah,
looks
but
like
the
a
other
real
thing is
quarterback, but
this:
he's not.
the Saints ran 8 men in the box most of the game. I don't know if you guys watched that or not, but it was. I mean, there was a lot of 8 men in the box
But
played
Hopkins
against
still got
Tennessee.
his. Just saying.
Well, why wouldn't you? I mean, considering I'm just saying, it's Tannehill throwing the ball.
Hop,
Yeah, load up the box and make them beat you with the pass.
Hopkins got his 7 for 65 on 13 targets. Ugh.
I meant the
Well,
ball was thrown at him. So
Oh,
but
okay.
it's yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
they're gonna load the box. As a coach, if I know you don't have a good passing game, even if you have a semi good receiver, but you don't have a great quarterback, but you do have an awesome running back, I'm gonna load the box and make you beat me with the pass.
that's
And that's
that's
what the Saints
crazy
did.
talk right there. What?
It did not happen. The pass did not beat them.
49ers versus Steelers, the first dominant win in the overreaction. But actually, I think the 49ers are a really good team. So I think they were every bit as dominant. Now the question is, does Purdy stay upright and healthy?
Yeah,
They look bad.
Yeah.
they looked
McCaffrey,
good. They looked real good.
they did. 49ers are who we thought they were going to be, right? I mean, that doesn't change. We knew they were going to come out dominant. There were some questions with Purdy, but he went 220 for 2 touchdowns, so no picks.
And he really, the problem is he didn't have to, right? Like he did that and he was kind of like done in the second quarter. Like, okay, well, we'll just take it easy.
T-Mac tore it up,
Yeah.
for sure. 22 carries, 152 yards, and a touchdown.
Well, he started off the bat with like a 60-yarder, right? Like he just right off the bat, he was like, I got this. So,
Ayuk had a big
monster
game,
day, yeah.
I try to get Ayuk everywhere I could, but he definitely, I have him in both my money leagues, so he did great.
Cards versus Commanders.
I'm surprised the Cards actually played as well as they did.
I'm surprised they even put that on TV.
Correct. And how will we trust with this 200 yards? The Texans versus the Ravens. This one, man, the Ravens. First of all, the Lamar was the leading rusher, but the Ravens just played cat and mouse.
Well, and losing Dobbins for the rest of the season is going to be an interesting one for him because they've got a very Gus Edwards and Justice Hill are both decent backs if they can get them going.
I was going to say, they lose Dobbins every year for the
I was
going to
say, aren't they already used to that?
Yeah. It's the losing Lamar for the rest of the season that usually causes a problem, so.
Well, yeah, when you got Huntley, you know.
Correct.
Huntley is Lamar on filters.
The Packer versus the Bears, so we all thought Fields was exactly what we thought. Preseason be damned.
Running back.
Playing quarterback.
Jordan Love looked damn good too.
He did. But Justin Fields got 64. Just out of to look at Justin Fields, he got 64% completion percentage, of which 8 wide receiver catches total. So what does that tell you? His 214 yards came from check down Charlie. So not good at all. The Packers look good though. The Raiders and the Broncos, all Jimmy G does is win, right? So barely, but he wins. The Pats and the Eagles, the Pats put up a fight, right? Like that team's not supposed to be in a 5-point fight with Philly, right? So
Mac Jones looked like a real quarterback too.
I'm a real quarterback.
Well, I mean, they let him throw 54 times. He had a 35 completions and
if I recall, they
yards.
didn't let him throw. They got down pretty big, right? And they had to throw.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they were down 16 after the first quarter.
Yeah, but they didn't make it any worse by throwing. So, yeah, the Dolphins and the Chargers, man, Tua looked good, dude. He may not have any long-term memory, but he looked good. I guess he would look good too if you were throwing to Hill and Waddle, though.
Did you guys see that one? There's one catch that Hill had in the end zone that was just like, holy crap! Like I don't even know how he caught the ball because, like,
yeah, but that wasn't the catch of the week. It was the one that Wilson threw, the terrible pass that Wilson threw to Wilson, and the guy literally grabbed it off the defender's back, his helmet, and somehow tipped it to himself and caught it in the end zone. That was the most amazing pass. In fact, Mannings were joking about it because they're like, Rodgers would have done that a different way. So, Rams and Seahawks. Stafford said no to the Sweet Pickles bus for week 1. He also only throws to people who has 4-letter names. So think about that. So you should pick up Puka, Tuka, and Cup, right?
What was that?
Puka, Tutu, and Cup, right? He only throws to wide receivers that have 4 letters in their names. So
there you go.
That's why. Maybe he can't do 5 letters. I don't know. Your Cowboys just beat the dog tar out of the Giants. I think the problem for you is this is week 1 Cowboys, right? You guys dominated a team and Dak didn't have to do anything. That's not your problem, right?
I'm just hoping that the defense holds so that Dak doesn't have to do much. Then we'll win, right? Trent Dilfer with the Baltimore Ravens.
Gotcha. All right.
That's my hope right now.
Could be that good. I mean, it looked that good. Daniel Jones didn't know what happened. So,
especially since they paid him that much money, I think people in New York are like, "Oh, what is it? The soap towel thing bad for Daniels?"
You're correct. Yes.
We get Russell Wilson. That's
correct. And then the Bills versus the Jets, where you lose your starting quarterback in the first series, but your defense is still the best team in the league, and you somehow managed to scrape a win with Josh Allen looking terrible. So
Uncle Rico won.
Well, and I hear they're going to get Brissett. Like they're trying to get Brissett now, so, which I don't.
It's a good one.
I don't know if that makes them I don't know if the defense is that good. So, but we'll see. We'll see on that.
Well, and with the Jets, I tried to get Harley going on the rumor that Kaepernick had signed with the Jets today.
Did you get her?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. I was fooled. Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't know how much Rico won because I don't know what the odds were. He just said he won. I didn't ask him how much, but he bets 1,000 a game, so whatever the odds were. So he's the winner. Yeah, well, we'll see how long that lasts, right? He's gonna let it ride again, all winnings.
He doesn't think the Jets are. Wow, why would you let it ride? I mean, you know they're not going to win 17, right? Like, even with the new quarterback, he's just like, I'm all in on Wilson. Like,
I'm assuming he'll win big and pull out, but he didn't do that last season. So
correct.
what do you have, like a 3-win, 4-win streak, and then blew it all?
I think
I don't know, man.
It was a lot because they won a lot to get back to normal, and then they blew out the rest of the year.
Bro, imagine a Latino man wearing a cowboy hat, wearing rhinestone and those gemstone things, and that, like he's weird. He's very eccentric.
I want to imagine that.
Yeah, he's eccentric. So
okay, real quick, chat. Thank you, Censored, for the sub. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming in. Last week's straight up record: Ripper 10-6, Striker 9-7, Wardy 11-5. Against the spread, Ripper 7-9, Wardy 12-4, Striker 8-8. If we keep this up, we're going to Vegas, baby. Doubt we'll keep it up.
You should have made a bet.
That's real money.
Well, you would look at it. You would have been up money right now if you went 12-4 against the spread.
Yeah, that would have been nice. But I'm not like Uncle Rico. So
and some of those were long shots.
Correct.
You need to get one of those betting sites as a sponsor.
Correct. FanDuel.
Come on, Barstool.
Come on, somebody. All right. So, any other? So we got quarterbacks are hurt. We lost Rodgers already, which you didn't think was going to be a big deal. I think it's going to be a huge deal. We lost Dobbins already. Who else?
I'd like to say I wasn't wrong about Rodgers. I said he would last, and look, there you go. He didn't last 5 minutes. But hey, to his credit or respect or whatever, that was $75 million worth of 5 minutes.
Correct.
He's fully guaranteed. Whew.
And looking at that line, like he was under pressure every single time. Like I went, oh, I forgot how bad the Jets line is. But it doesn't matter anymore because the young kid's in, at least until they trade for somebody else. Okay, so we have anything else for week 1? And we'll go on to week 2. Cool. All right. First game we got is the Vikings and the Eagles. Yes, Wardy. Yes.
Yes, Wardy. Well, I'm still waiting. I guess we're going to be scribing this into Ripper as he goes.
Yeah, we do that every week.
Oh, because Ripper's not cool enough to put it in beforehand. Got it.
Oh, did I not do something?
No,
hold on,
okay.
let me do that.
I ask him and I copy and paste it, so it's not that big of a deal.
My bad.
Don't be. I figured you want to keep it secret. I don't want to cheat off you. You are the defending champion. Picker.
All right, so are we picking any? Where are we at?
Yeah, we are at the Vikes playing at the Eagles.
Well, the Eagles look all of what we thought they were going to be. I mean, not all, but they're not going to look bad, right? They definitely look good. Minnesota, again, Kirk Cousins, right? 1 week good, 1 week bad, 1 week good, 2 weeks good, 3 weeks bad. Who knows what the combination is going to be there? They still have weapons. Obviously, not having Cook and Madison as a running back, we'll see how that goes. I just don't think they are at the point of firepower where they beat the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles did look pretty solid in my book. I think they will continue to look solid, and I think they take this one. Do we have the spread on this one?
Yeah, it is.
Eagles by 6.
I think they cover. I'll say Eagles by 7.
Striker.
Yeah, this is an Eagles for me, and I just don't think Minnesota is going to be anywhere near what they were last year. So I don't know what there's worth talking about here because I just don't see. I see Minnesota of last week showing up again this week. Morty.
I'm coughing. Sorry. And someone's typing for me. So
Yep, I got you.
okay. So yeah, the Vikings didn't look good this week. But the honestly, the Eagles should beat the Patriots more than they did. The line is 6. I tell you what, I think this was going to be really close. I think the Eagles win. I'm going to do 7-2.
I mean, look at what the Vikings really bring, right? They bring a Kirk Cousins, who, look, every year he's semi-good but semi-bad, right? So you would only assume that through the years, the older he gets, the worse he's going to be. They have Madison replacing Cook, who.
I love
I
Dr.
like him. I
Pepper.
think he'll still be all right. We'll see. I think the Vikings will still score enough points.
It's so sweet. Taste of Dr. Pepper. It's a sugar. I love.
Many good weapons. I just don't see, and their defense is pretty solid. I don't see the Vikings playing up enough or Kirk Cousins playing up enough to beat them whatsoever. So they'll cover. Just how bad they'll cover. I'm going to keep it modest, obviously at 7, but could be worse.
Striker, what do you think? Point wise?
For the Eagles,
Yeah.
I think it's 10. I think they'll be a 10 or 10's about the max I'd ever go. I think it'll be greater than that though.
Okay. Alrighty. Chad, anything about that while we go on? What's up, guys? We're doing Oregon Trail. We are not doing Oregon Trail tonight.
Did you play it?
No, I didn't.
Fuck yeah, I did.
Oh, thanks, Striker.
Thanks, Striker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Striker.
I had to break the F-bomb somehow.
It
so.
wasn't even Ripper this time. It was Striker.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, Striker drops the F-bomb.
We're gonna do the Packers and the Falcons next.
Let me pull it up 1 second. So Jordan Love, Striker's boy. I'm still not convinced. We'll see. I mean, he can make a believer out of me. Obviously, he had a good game. He only had a 55.5 completion percentage, but he went 245 for 3 touchdowns and no picks. Not bad at all, if you ask me. Aaron Jones was running pretty fine until he kind of got hurt. As a receiver, Aaron Jones did really well as well. They were missing Watson and a couple other guys. We'll see, man. I think you're throwing Watson in the mix, and Love could shine a little bit brighter. Going up against the Falcons. Atlanta. I know a lot of you, and I'm going to say this here because I dropped Algiers also in one of the money leagues. And I know Wardy's big on Algiers, and you jumped on it when Big Dog dropped it. I'm going to tell you right now, and you'll hear it here first. That was a great week 1 game, but that isn't what the norm is going to be for Algiers at all. They put a lot of stock into Robinson, right? They drafted him high. That's who your running back's going to be with the Falcons, and Algier will play a complementary role to him, and not a attempted or whatever you want to call it to him. But anyways, they don't have a quarterback. The one they do, 83% completion. That's great because he barely threw any passes. He had 115 yards and a touchdown. I think Atlanta will still do well. I think being a run-only team, because that's really the way it's looking right now, could be difficult for them. I don't see Green Bay's defense being phenomenally great either, though. So this could be a game of 2 tails, right? One team that's going to run the ball completely, and the other team that's going to pass the ball for the most part. With Aaron Jones out, what's his name? Dylan. Dylan did not look like a great running back in Aaron Jones's steed, by the way.
Is Jones out, or I heard he was just like banged up, like it was a hamstring? Wasn't that bad?
He's banged up.
He's questionable, right?
Yeah, he's questionable with a hamstring. Non-participant, but
what's the spread on this one?
1.5 to the Pack.
Yeah, it's actually shifted to 1 to the Pack already since we put those in a few hours ago.
Those are tough for me, anyways, right? That's a game that can go either way. I think that Robinson eventually will shine in this league. I think he will slowly each week shine and take over games and be a big difference in games a la Tennessee with Henry. I don't know if it's this game just yet, but it's coming. It's hard to take the Falcons over the Packers, man, because Jordan Love is looking nice, but I still don't believe him. So I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to go with the Falcons by a field goal, 3 points.
Falcons by 3. Go ahead, Striker.
So I'm going the Packers, and I'm going the Packers by 3 on this one. I don't see Atlanta doing what they need to do here. I don't see them getting. I think the Packers won't have the game they had last week, but I also think they will be better than the Raiders or than the Packers or the Falcons by at least 3 points.
So what's the difference between the Packers and the Bears?
Quarterback.
And the Bears quarterback's better?
No, but I think I guess go tell me your question here. What's your?
I mean, it's the same thing, right? The Bears run the ball. The Falcons run the ball. They can't throw to save their lives, neither one of them. So what do you got any different than the Bears? It's going to be the same thing. The Packers should beat the crap out of this team. They stop Justin Fields. They can stop Desmond Ridder. He's not that great of a passer. Like they're going to stop Robinson. They're going to bottle up Robinson. I mean, even if Robinson runs all day for him, they get 300 yards on the ground. It seems that, and that was without Watson. Like the Packers have a solid defense. They took it to the Bears, which is the same kind of offense the Falcons are going to run, right? Run right, run left, the quarterback scramble. So I see this the same thing. 24-13, 11-point win by the Packer.
Ooh.
Make it 10 to be cool.
Yeah, I just don't get what Vegas or whoever's setting the lines on this sees. Like, I just don't.
It's probably
understand it.
Jones hurt. I mean, again, it is in Atlanta, so it's not, Green Bay was at home. But yeah, I don't. If you could stop Justin Fields, who's a faster threat at the running back position, Desmond Ritter's not going to beat you with his arm. I don't think so. Which is why I'm so low on the Falcons now. If he comes out and he can, if the guy comes out and he starts slinging the ball, which he's not done in 2 years in the league,
Right.
different story.
Hey, look, Desmond Ridder had 83% completion. He only threw 3 passes, but still 83%.
Yeah, okay.
115 yards and 1 touchdown. How do you get 83? How many passes did he throw? You have the full box?
I don't think so. I think he threw more than that, but he didn't get many yards.
Must have been throwing
15 for 18 for 115, average 6.4 per completion.
Those are some small passes.
Your kids do better.
That was like, blow the whistle, coach. Just throw the ball.
Yeah, that's why you guys are bullish on the Falcons, and I get that they're a dominant run team, and if they had a quarterback of any, like a middling quarterback, they could probably get to 500 pretty easy. But I don't see it with this kid.
Well,
So.
I mean, he's in the NFL, so he's not a complete loss of a quarterback either. They let Dakota Prescott play in Dallas, so this guy can't be that bad.
I'm pretty sure he's better than Dakota. So, enough said. Don't appall him. Stop back.
Moving on. Before I start doing the dirty bird,
we're gonna do the Bills and the Raiders. The Raiders.
The Bills came out a little sluggish, I think, right? I mean, Allen started acting like he was Oprah. You get a pick, and you get a pick. Actually, it was a pick. All 3 picks were the same guy, wasn't it?
I don't. I know the Jets were picking the ball off. I don't know if it was.
I think he threw 3 of his interceptions to the same person, but he had a bad start. Week 1. Look, week 1 is always a weird week, right? We see things that we don't usually see. Bad games, good games, so on and so forth. We get high expectations on some people after week 1 filter game, and it doesn't turn out the way it should be. I'm not going to put a lot of stock into the bad game that Allen had. I think he'll be all right. He'll rebound. He'll come back at it and do very well. Is it enough to beat the Raiders? Yeah. They've got a good running game. They've obviously got good athletes on that team. I think Myers is hurt, correct? I don't know if he even plays. Devontae will, but I don't know if Myers plays this week. And again, Myers to have a 2 touchdown. that's what he has every 10 games, right? Myers isn't. He did that in New England. He didn't have great games every week, but every 7th or 8th game, he had a big game like this. It's week 1. I don't see enough from the Raiders to beat the Bills. I think the Bills defense will dominate here. I think Allen comes back, and he obviously has the weapons. And we see a solid game from the Bills the way we expected week 1, and we see a victory. What's the spread?
The spread is 9.5 to the Bills.
Did we talk about the 49ers yet?
No.
That's a tough spread. 9.5. I don't think that they come out and hands down dominate like 14, 21 points, anything like that. But I can see a 10-point win. But again, now being that it's the spread. And
This is why these guys are good at that thing, right?
Yeah, of course. That's why they make money and we don't.
Mm-hmm.
9.5. Ugh. I think the Raiders will put up points. I don't think they're gonna, not put up points. I think that the Bills will win this one. I just don't know that they win by 10 points or not. I want to say 10 points. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it. 10 points. I think it's a 10-point game to the Bills.
Where do your chat is trying to talk to you?
I'll go with the Bills by 10.
We'll finish this up and then we'll do it.
But we'll get there in a second. We're not there yet, so we'll talk Brock when we get to the Niners.
Purdy.
Yeah, we will.
This is Purdy.
So I'm not a fan of Josh Allen. Like, I'm not. I know he's in the quarterback hierarchy of the top 5. But it's stuff like on that Monday night. That Monday night, man, the big lights got to him. He was forcing throws. Like, he doesn't trust anything. He doesn't trust, the other team. He doesn't trust the running game. Like, he's trying to put balls in spots he shouldn't have been trying. And he said he was not going to do that this year, and he's still doing it. Like, which doesn't bode well to the big game. I'm sure in his mind he's thinking, I just can't. I can't get to the big one. Like, this is the team. This is the window. The team's not getting any younger, right? They're getting older. So I think I thought the Jets were going to be the number 1 defense. Now that they don't have a quarterback, I think that's going to slip a little bit because the offense is going to be so bad. But the Jets defense is legit. But those picks some of them were bad. Jimmy G's a winner. And I don't see the Bills covering the spread. I think the Bills will win, but I think it's going to be a 3-point win. So I'm going to go with them for the upright by 3 against the spread. Did that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
Upward by 3 against the spread.
Well, so in other words, straight up they're going to win by 3, which isn't enough to cover, right? So it'll be straight up the Bills, but against the spread, it's the Raiders.
Yeah, so I'm similar to you, Wardy. I think the Bills win the game, but I think I'm going to say 3 points also. I could say somewhere between 3 and 7 is the magic number.
So
but
straight up, you're saying the Bills.
Yes, Bills will win the game, but they aren't going to cover the spread. I do have a fun stat for you. Guess who's led the league in turnovers since 2018?
I'm guessing
Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott, no, Josh Allen.
Okay.
But
we call Dak bad.
I mean, that should tell you everything you need to know right there, right?
It was really Josh Allen?
Yeah, Josh Allen has 84 turnovers.
Let's not talk too much trash about my starting quarterback in the Money League.
Oh, well, yeah. We won't. All right, so next game is going to be the Bengals or the Ravens of the Bengals.
What's the spread?
The spread is going to be 3.5 to the Bengals.
I still think the Burrow and the Bengals had a bad game week 1, right? I think they came out and just, again, we know what the stats are in their week 1 wins and losses. I just think it was one of those games for them, man. It was horrible. I think they'll bounce back from it. I think Burrows is in that top 5 quarterback category, and I think that. Obviously, he didn't show it on Sunday, but he'll bounce back. It was a horrible 82 yards for Joe Burrow in one game is horrible.
82 yards on 31 passing attempts.
Yeah, that's just. I mean, the Ravens defense is. I don't think they're that good. I don't know, man. It's hard to explain this game, right? Like I want to say a bounce back week is coming, and you want to believe in that, but 82 yards on how many throws again?
I mean, he
Awesome.
stayed in. He got pulled, right?
Yeah. It's horrible, bro. It was a bad game for him. I don't think that's the norm for Joe Burrow. I mean, he just got paid a whole bunch of money too. I think he bounces back. Not gonna say tough game to bounce back on, but it kind of is, right? You have Lamar across the field, who didn't do too great either. Let's be honest, rushing or passing.
Well, he led the Ravens in rushing.
38 yards. Come on now.
But he led the Ravens in rushing.
Because Dobbins, didn't play for his usual 12 minutes. He only played.
Exactly. But I think the Ravens, honestly, and maybe the NFL guys don't do this, but I think that they're like, the Texans can't beat us at all. Like, we're just gonna go out here and we're gonna do our thing, and it doesn't matter, because once they were up, you don't have to like be fancy, right? You're just like, oh, let the rookie through. I mean, the rookie threw what, 50 times that game? Like, let the rookie make mistakes. I think it was a conservative game plan.
Maybe. I don't know of any conservative game plan that has hey, offense, let's not go out there and put up points. Let the defense handle it. But okay, we'll go with that. I think the Bengals bounce back here. Now, what was the spread again? I'm sorry.
Jeez, your short-term memory is gone. It is the Bengals by 3.5.
It's a tough one, man. I want to say the Bengals are going to win this game, but at the same time, the Ravens aren't no joke either. Dobbins are not. They should be used to that. I think the biggest surprise out here was Flowers, who really had a great game as far
Zay
as
Flowers.
Yeah, he looked pretty, but I'm gonna stick with it, man. I think Joe Burrows comes out and 3.5 on the spread. I think the Bengals still win, just at 3.5, right? They'll win by over the spread. So let's say 4 points, just to be conservative, right? They're gonna win by 4. If they win by more, oh well. But yeah, they'll beat the spread. How about that?
Yep. Strikey strike.
The Bengals.
Got Bengals.
Yeah, so I don't see how the Bengals don't cover and win this. The Bengals just played like crap. So
okay, so I'm gonna go Bengals 4.
So I'm gonna do Bengals 7. Sorry, I thought I said that, but I broke up apparently.
Yep, you're fine. You guys are crazy. Joe Burrow's legs messed up, man. He didn't play in the preseason. He doesn't have his timing down. It's not gonna come back in a day or 6 days. Like, no, I think he's still hurt. Like, and I think the Ravens will take. This is the division game, right? We know division games don't go well anyhow. And these two teams hate each other. Like, and if you got Lamar. Now, if Lamar gets hurt in the first 4 plays, different outcome. But I think the Ravens win this. And of course they got the spread, so I'm gonna say the Ravens by 1. I don't care.
I think Wardy needs to put some money on these games.
Yeah, that's when I'll start losing. that's why you want that. So, but no, I think Burrow again, healthy Burrow doesn't throw for 88 yards, man. He's got a problem pushing off that leg. So that's what I think. His line's not good. It's going to take him a few weeks to get out of the rut. I don't think this is a long-term thing. What I think it is going to take him a few weeks, at least. Let's say that in this week he gets to 200 yards. The Ravens still beat him. Like, I think Jackson's that special a talent. So, going with the Ravens. Okay. Our next game we're going to do is...
And his name is John C.
Hate you guys. Sound alerts. All right. Lions in Seattle, but thank you for the bits. Thank you, Harley. Lions and Seahawks. Give me the next game.
The Lions.
Which great win in Kansas City, right? Good for them.
Let's put up my little stats thing because I like to see the stats when I go in. Man, what was the score for the Seahawks games last week?
It was not in their favor.
Oh,
I love Dr.
24 to
Pepper.
13.
For the Seahawks.
So it's a
30.
taste of Dr. Pepper. With the sugar. Sugar. I love.
I already forgot.
What's that?
That short-term memory is not doing well.
Lions. Seahawks at the Lions. Detroit by 5. What's the question?
No, I was asking who the Seahawks played last week. Sorry.
The Rams.
The Rams.
I have a Rams with Stafford back.
Mm-hmm.
Different ballgame, right? Even though I think he's still being sweet pickles bust. We'll go off that.
He said no.
So,
Week
Gino-
1, he was like, no. Tell
Oh,
Ripper,
Sweet
he's
Pickles
wrong.
told me. Yeah, I was. I still have faith in the fact that the Seahawks will right the ship and do well. It was week 1. They're still a pretty good team. However, they're going up against another team that I think is going to do well this season in the Lions. Goff didn't look too bad. Threw no picks, 253 and a touchdown.
The Egyptian
Believe it or not,
came on.
Egyptian was who he was always going to be, right? We knew he was going to do well. Reynolds did well too. The big surprise for me is that they didn't really run Gibbs more, and they went with a veteran in Montgomery who carried the ball well 21 times. He outpaced Gibbs by a lot.
And the
had
other
74
team
yards
have
and a
walked
touchdown.
off. They forfeited
Not
the
necessarily.
match.
I don't think a lot of people thought he was going to be the lead back there. I think that Detroit is the stronger team here right now. As the season progresses, I think the Seahawks will get better. They always do for some reason. However, at this point in time, I think the Lions are just going to be better and continue to be better. You said the spread was 5 for the Lions. I think they cover with 7. So the Lions. Sorry, Strike.
So depends on the day. I would definitely. I thought Seahawks. Now that I'm looking at the injuries and potentially not having Charles Cross on the left tackle, I got to go Lions on this one, and it pains me. I think it's gonna be Lions 3 though. I don't think they'll cover the spread. I want Seattle, but I just can't do it this week. And I got to go AFK for a second, so I'm going to be on mute.
Were you
for
going
just a
spread or
second.
not spread? You didn't say.
No, he
not
said
spread.
not. No, so they will cover. This one, to me, the Lions. The question to me is, if the Lions take a step back, did the Chiefs play inspired? Like, week 1 was hard for me because the Lions looked out of sync on offense, and their defense looked like, because last year they had a really good offense and a terrible defense, right? Got into the playoffs and yay. This year is supposed to be much improved defense, same awesome offense, and instead the offense came down, the defense looked like it came up, and they won a 1-point game with the Chiefs without 2 of their top 3 players. I wasn't wowed by the Lions. On the other hand, the Seahawks gave up 100 yards to everybody who had a 4-letter name. And Stafford threw for 350 yards. So they look really bad on D. I'm with you. I'm gonna go over the spread, Lions 6. Just I don't. I'm not sold on their offense. I'd like to see, because again, watching week 1, they looked all out of sync, but that happens in week 1, right? Offenses take a while to catch up to defenses. So I would expect to see an improvement, and then if you go from, if they go from 21 to 28 or 30 points, I think they easily outpace the Seahawks and beat the spread. So be interesting to see if they take a step back. That's that team. I don't know that offense is all there, but we'll see.
I don't see them taking a step back, but yeah, we'll see. We've got the Egyptian.
Yeah, well, he might carry the team. He did last week, right? The next one we're going to do is the Chargers and the Titans, but I'm going to look at chat. There's a Cardinals sound alert. Thanks, Censored, for the redeems. Did I miss anything else, Harley? Considering turning off redeems. Okay, no, we're good. So, Chargers at the Titans? and it's Chargers by 3.
Eckler and Kelly teamed up to do pretty well last week, as did the receivers, right?
Which did
the
I
game
see
was,
Eckler got hurt?
he did.
Is it? I don't know if it's bad.
We'll see day to day. I think he'll be back. We'll see. But Eckler usually does get hurt, doesn't he?
Yes, we
That's
say
why I
that.
picked up Josh Kelly. I think Josh Kelly looked pretty good as well. They both did. They both had 16 carries. Eckler went for 117 and a touchdown, and Kelly went for 91 and a touchdown. Herbert didn't look too bad either. 228 touchdown, no picks. Keenan Allen, who will, or the bet on him is the over/under 6 games or not. Will he last 6 games or play 6 games this week season or not? We'll see. Not bad. He looked good with the Chargers. I mean, yeah, it looks like Herbert is the only quarterback that came out with a new contract and then held up to his money, because we know Burrow didn't. With that said, the Titans. Derrick Henry is not who Derrick Henry was anymore. Not in my opinion. I mean, he went 15 attempts for 63 yards, great, but he didn't look as explosive or as dominating as he did before. Yeah, they have D-Hops and he had 7 receptions, but Tannehill had a 47% completion rate. I don't see the Titans doing much better than that. I think that this game will go to the Chargers. You said the spread was 3? Or did you not say the spread?
3 for the Chargers.
Yeah, I definitely think the Chargers will cover here. I think that Herbert is going to work his way into that upper echelon of quarterbacks. He's right outside that top 5, but he'll get in there this season. I don't think the Titans will stop him. Now, the Titans have a great run defense. Let's not ignore that. I know they do have a pretty strong run defense against the run. However, I think the tandem of Eckler and Kelly will be a little much for them. Plus Herbert's arm, I think the Chargers will cover. I'm going to say they win this one by, let's go 7. They'll cover the spread. Is that all I need to say?
Yeah. So
all right, they cover.
Chargers 7.
Yes. They might win by 5, but they'll still cover.
That's fine.
I'll take 4.
Chargers 5, 3.25. Chargers by 4. Striker, you back? No, I'm not. Okay.
He's on the phone with Calvin Ridley.
Just in breaking news. I don't like the Titans, as everyone knows. I think that all that we said is true. I think D Hops is a good player. I think Henry is a good player on the back end. I think Tannehill is an average quarterback. I think that defense got older, and is a bit slower. And there's nothing really outstanding about the team at all. They're a middle of the road team and everything. With the exception of probably D Hops. D Hops is still at the top end, but he's just not got enough quarterback being thrown to him. On the flip side, the Chargers, man, they ran. I mean, the Dolphins are one of the fastest teams in the league. They showed why, and they're putting up points with them. I mean, they looked. Their flip side is their offense gets any better, man. They're scoring 50 points a game. I think that it's going to be a track meet on the Titans, and I don't think they're going to be able to keep up. So I think it's going to be Chargers by way more. It's like 7-10. So I'll do Chargers by 7. And then, do we have striker?
Nice. No.
Alrighty. Well, the analyst has stepped away. So we'll go Bears and Buccos. Yeah, Bucks at the Bears. No. Yeah, Bears at the Bucks.
Bears at the Bucks?
Bears at the Bucks. Stop Bears.
Let me pull that up. Pull it up. Let me see here. Let's just say that I think the Bucks found their new
which chat said since Chargers by 12.
Chargers by 12. Nice.
Chargers by 12.
We all think the Chargers are going to cover, Sensor. I think by 7. I went conservative with 7. I think they will win. I think 12 is a bit of a reach in my opinion, but what do I know? So, I think that the Buccaneers found their new franchise quarterback in Baker Mayfield. No, I don't. He's a quarterback with a filter on, right? he looked excitable, but he always plays like that, right? Baker's always he's a hype guy, right? He hypes it all up. He screams, he shouts, he talks trash, and then 2 weeks later he's shipped off to another team. We'll see how he does there, man. He didn't do too bad. He didn't have great yardage, 173 and 2 touchdowns, but man, any quarterback that's throwing for under 200, you got to question, right? You're like, maybe if they had a great running game, which they do not, So Evans is back, which is good, right? He had 6 receptions for 66 yards. I don't know. You
He's
look
a
at how you want.
prime trade target, right?
Well, 666. I think he made the new deal with the devil that Brady had.
The Brady extension.
Yes. But he did look good. He looked pretty solid, which is great to see. Sucky for anyone that didn't draft him, including myself, but he did look all right. Now, on the other side, you've got a running back playing quarterback. You've got a running back that is a running back, but did better than the running backs because he's a quarterback, but he's a quarterback. He's a running back. That makes sense for you?
Yes, I'm totally tracking that he's a running back playing quarterback, disguised as a running back, disguised as a quarterback underneath that.
The Bears do have a player that I'm going to mention again, Rashawn Johnson, Texas, University of Texas. He played behind Robinson. That guy is going to be a star in the NFL someday. He did score a touchdown on Saturday, but keep an eye out for him. However, his carries are going to be limited because Justin Fields likes to run the ball more than anybody else, and it's in his contract that he has to run more than all the running backs. With that said, what is the spread, sir?
The spread is the Bucks by 2.5.
I'm back, by the way.
The Bears have the number 1 rushing offense. It's great. Out of 1,000 yards, Justin Fields had 984 last year. Bucks by what?
I just said it. Bucks by 2.5.
2.5.
2.5. I think that this game here, I think the Bucks will cover again. I think I'm going to go. They're going to cover with a 3-point win. The Bucks.
What's your Chargers pick, Striker?
I'm going Chargers by 7. I think the Chargers will just smoke the Titans. I think it's going to get to a point where where Titans are going to have to pass to catch up, and there just isn't going to be a chance for them to catch up. So,
copy that. All right. Yeah. In Baker we don't trust, but in Justin Fields we definitely don't. Like, again, these odds guys are really good because it's probably what these two teams might combine to score 3.5 points. And I don't even know how that's possible. Like a safety, and then someone just gives up and says, okay, you get half a point. So again, I didn't see anything like we talked about. Is there any conceivable way that you see Baker Mayfield, as a resurgent? Week 1 was not it. Like, he threw 170 passes to 170 yards to Mike Evans and nothing to anybody else. And I don't think there is much behind him. Like, this team, if you look at this team, it's got no running game. It's got one wide receiver coming back from injury, and it's got Mike Evans. That's it. On the flip side, Justin Fields might be enough. Like, he could just outrun this team. So I'm gonna go Bucks by 3, just because of the Baker. But I don't love this pick.
Well, you've got one team with a running back pretending to be a quarterback, and the other team with a quarterback that pretended to be a quarterback.
Correct.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
There you go.
And then
I just so I'm gonna go counter to I think both you.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think none of us really think these are not Super Bowl contenders. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I guess I look at it and go, if it's a ground game, it's the Bears win, no question. And I mean, as much as Justin Fields didn't show us much, he was efficient with the ball, and he had to keep them just honest enough that they weren't completely screwed in the process. So, I just don't see Tampa Bay having enough to stop Fields / the running game and then surviving, punching up after. Because especially if the Bears get up by 10 points, 2 scores, it's over. I'm gonna go Bears 4 here. I probably would go higher, but I don't think it much matters once I choose the Bears because I'm on that side of the spread.
Yeah. Who did the Bucks beat the Vikes, right?
Yes.
I mean, Yeah, I don't know if they can stop the run. That's the problem with this one. So yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm just yeah, Bucks. This is probably gonna be the Fields game. Although on the flip side, the only argument that really gives me the Bucks is Mike Evans. That Mike Evans connection was there, right? Like he had a great game. So I think that actually if the Bears get up, the Bucks can come back. But if the flip side is the case, they're unless Fields cracks a couple of 90-yard runs, it's not gonna happen. All right. Split on that one. Oh, nothing says beating the world champion in week 1 and hosting him in week 2 like the Jags hosting the Chiefs. Why? Just why? And then Kelsey's coming back and Jones is coming back. Like, life's not good for me. What say you, Coach? Currently it's the Jags hosting the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are up by 3, favored by 3.
Chiefs by 3. Man, you know that I'm all about sunshine this year. I'm
but
no, honestly, on the other side of the house, if Kels was playing, how long is he out? Because I
They
hear
said
he might be
Kelsey
back.
should be back.
yeah, they said Charles. Yeah,
Man, this is gonna be a tough one to call. Even though you said Jags by 3,
no Chiefs.
Chiefs by 3. Man, this is a tough one, and it's a big game for Sunshine too. And I say big game in week 2, right? Big game, what? But it really is. If you've got a full powered Chiefs team with Kels and everybody else. Now, we knew the Chiefs defense wasn't going to be the greatest of all that, but a full powered offense for the Chiefs can outscore anybody, right? We saw it all last year, to be honest. This is a big game for Sunshine because a full power Chiefs game, if he can go in there and beat them, it starts adding to what I said he would be this season. I believe that by the end of this season, he will be in that top 5 echelon, right? Not that top tier. And I know that Mahomes didn't look like that top tier quarterback that we all, but again, listen, you can't have a quarterback and give him nothing and expect complete success. And right now, he has nothing. Last year, he had nothing, but he had Kels, and Kels is a big something, right? Uh, just tough to say that the Chiefs will win this game without Kels. Obviously, since he's playing, there's a big difference there. I'm struggling with this one because it really is a tough one to call. I really want to pull the trigger on the Jags because I do believe in Sunshine that much. I really think he's going to do great. I think their run game is big. I think, you know what? I'm pulling the trigger. It's the Jags, man. The Jags will win.
Trigger pulled.
And obviously, they'll cover if they win. So
Jags by 4.
Jags. I think Jags surprise us all and win this one by a touchdown. But either way, I just got to cover the spread, right? So Jags.
Yes.
The Jags.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to let you go last since this is your team. So,
Yeah.
so if you go look at the other side of the spreadsheet over there that we've got for the picks and stuff, you'll see I already had Jacksonville by 4 for that exact reason. I think Kansas City's going to be good. I think Chris Jones signing helps them, but I just think Jacksonville's got too much. I am on the Sunshine train this year. I am 100% on board with it. He looked good. The offense looked good. Calvin Jr. or Calvin Sr. I guess my daddy, if you will, looks healthy and looked solid. Like he looked like he took a year or 2 off from the NFL, and that's a good thing.
He didn't take it off. He was suspended, sir.
Well, you know what I mean, though. But I mean, he didn't.
He didn't go to the donut shop.
Yeah, we'll put it this way: he didn't look like he was going to be a problem for Trevor to trust, and that's all Trevor needs is wide receivers he can trust. So I'm with Rip. I think it's going to be 7, but I'll say 4 just to be on the safe side because that's what I went with.
So here's the problem: the Jags have a legitimate team, except for the tackles. They don't. Those guys are turnstiles. And it's the Colts, and unless the Colts have a much better defense, they were getting in the backfield all the time. And now Chris Jones just came in after having, basically all summer off to wreak havoc on this team. It's great having Calvin Ridley. It's great having Zay Jones. It's great having Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram. But if you don't give them time to throw the ball, it doesn't matter. And the running game actually got bottled up a little bit. It was not. The Colts shouldn't have been in that game, and yet they were. And they were leading in the third quarter. So the team was resilient. I look back at this team, and then on the flip side, you got the Chiefs. What are the Chiefs? The Chiefs beat him in the divisional round by 7 in a game that wasn't that close. They had him by double digits most of the entire game. And really, the downgrade is the wide receivers, right? Mahomes, no matter what he says, he can't trust those 3 wide receivers. Tony, he hit him in the hands. Like, it is not, those numbers that Mahomes put up was not his fault. Like, he's hitting guys in the hands and they're dropping pick sixes. Had they just caught the ball, they would have beat the Lions and caught the ball and dropped down right where they were. The running game wasn't there. Pachinko and everybody else ran in and didn't run effectively. I look and I go, the Chiefs are world champs and Mahomes is special, and they've lost the first game in front of a national audience, and they're going to be here to beat the tar out of the Jags. And I look at the Jags going, this is a measuring game, and this is we have to beat the best to move along. And I think this is a measuring stick game. It's at home. I still think the Chiefs win. And I don't want to go. I mean, I want to be the homer and pick my own team, but I think the Chiefs win. And since they're favored, I think they'll cover. I think it's 4. Chiefs by 4. This is one I hope I'm wrong. I hope you guys are right. I hope Sunshine comes out and blows the doors off of them. But nope.
I'd like to say, man, Ridley, I was right. He came in and I was big on Ridley as well, and I tried to draft him every for a while. I figured Ridley was going to have a pretty great season. I think he will have a Pro Bowl season, to say, along with Sunshine, and maybe even a Super Bowl season. Ooh, we shall see.
This fan hopes so. But this
Did
week,
I say they were going?
Yeah, I think everybody did.
Picking what?
So we picked.
You all picked them for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, we all did. It was a crazy week 1.
We must be crazy. The pros picked the Cowboys in the NFC.
So we picked the Jags and the Bills. So you picked the Jags and the Bills, and the Jaguars beating the Eagles beating the 49ers, and the Jaguars beating the Eagles. I said the Jags and the Jets. Obviously, that picks out the window. The 49ers and the Cowboys, and the 49ers beating the Jags. And then Stryker said Jags and the Bengals, the Seahawks and the Cowboys, and the Seahawks beating the Jags.
Homer pick.
And the Homer Super Bowl.
Nice.
I mean, I said it from day one, so I'm not arguing that one at all.
So not picking the Jets anymore. That's a no.
Well, I think we all were
Russell Wilson
on
or no
Aaron Rodgers.
Russell Wilson. No, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers definitely took an early trip to Sweet Pickles retirement.
he did.
With $75 million though, golden parachute.
Right.
All right. The next game we're going to do is the Colts and the Texans.
Colts and Texans. What's the spread?
That is the Colts by 1.
And both have rookie quarterbacks. Let's start with that. I guess battle of the rookie quarterback, right? Which one is going to be better? Is it going to be Richardson or is it going to be Stroud? Neither one looked too bad. I mean, there was quarterbacks that have been around a long time, like say Burrow, that played way worse than these guys. Richardson had 223 with a touchdown and a pick. Stroud had 242, no touchdowns, no picks.
But Stroud threw 48 times?
Yeah, but he was 63% completion rate. Still
Oh,
not
I mean,
bad.
he was chunking the ball, right? Richardson looked good too. I mean, Richardson was running the ball. He was throwing the ball. He looked good.
And he had a touchdown rushing. 10 rushes, 40 yards. That's also because,
Of course, he also got himself hurt in the final minute by lowering his shoulder. So, kids in the NFL, they're big boys.
Yes. And the Colts have no running game but Richardson, so that's a problem.
Jonathan Taylor, where are you? Please come
Yeah.
back.
Spread again, I'm sorry. Did we say the spread?
We did. One. Colts won. Uno.
Uno. In battle of the rookie quarterbacks, battle of the running game, where Richardson also plays the part of running back. Nico Collins, Damian Pierce look good. Didn't look too bad for the. Hey, my boy Robert Woods looked good too, by the way. Let's just throw that out there.
He did.
I I really think and want to say the Texans are an upset, but I just can't. I think the Colts win this game. I think the Colts come in and I think the Texans will be picking in the top 5 draft pick this season again. I'm going to go with the Colts cover, obviously. Colts by 2.
Colts win 2-0. The Texans don't have many chances to win. This is probably one of their better ones. Is Richardson gonna play? What is he listed as?
Internet's not loading, but he's not even questionable today. So
The internet's not loading. That's what happens when you're young, right? You can take it. You can get this not knocked out of you, and as long as you're not Tua, you're fine. I'm going Texans. I don't know why. Texans win. Texans win 1-0.
it's not even possible.
I know. I'm just being, because of the points. It doesn't matter. Texans win. Texans by 3.
So I just don't see Houston. I mean, yeah, they moved the ball a little bit last game. They did some stuff, but I just don't. They didn't really have a good defensive standing or good defensive game against a team that should have, frankly, not been that good against them. You know, you're talking about the Ravens who had Dobbins injured. Ravens were not supposed to be that good without Dobbins, and they still got smoked. I just don't see how they can put up with, a Richardson and whoever else Andy wants
That's
to
it.
throw out there.
Just to be clear, that was it. But who else was fantasy relevance? Maybe Pittman.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's the end of the list. They had no running game. It was Richardson.
I mean, Colts by 1 basically tells us it's a coin flip or damn near a coin flip, right? So I'm gonna go Colts by 3 because Colts by 2 doesn't matter to me, but I would not touch this game with a 10-foot pole for fantasy relevance in any way, shape, or form. There is zero value.
Nico Collins, I would put him in. I would put him in. I might put the running back in. That's
which running back?
The Houston
Richardson?
running back. No, the quarterback. No, the I would put the Houston. What's the Houston running back name?
Damian Pierce, 11 carries for 38 yards and a 3.5 average.
that was one game. He was solid last year in the lead back role. So I don't think he'll do that. And again, I think it's Texans at home. You got to give him. I mean, basically they're saying the Colts are 4 points better. Nah, I don't think so. Just me. This is not going to be a fun to watch game.
Nope.
In my opinion. The next game we're going to do is going to be the 49ers playing the Rams, and the Niners got 8. Somebody was watching that game last week going, damn, 49ers are good.
What are we looking at? Niners
and the Rams at LA.
Ooh, this could be a good game for sure. I think the Niners defense is definitely too strong for the Rams at this point. I know the Rams are going to come out and they got what's his face that should be in the Sweet Pickles bounce back and all that, but Stafford.
Yes.
And the 4-letter group of receivers, Tutu and Puka and I don't know who else,
Correct.
Pookie and them. It's going to be interesting for sure, but I think the 49ers are just too strong defensively. I think they'll get at Stafford and it'll make a big difference. I think the run game for the 49ers is going to be pretty strong as well, as is the Rams. But overall, this one's going to come down to defense, and I think the 49ers are going to be a lot stronger in this one. Spread, because I didn't hear it.
9.
9?
9.
For the 49ers?
Yes.
Oh, this is a tough one. I think the 49ers win, but they don't cover. Is that good?
Yeah.
You think that?
Very, very much so.
49ers win, but not covered.
So 49ers by 6. I know.
Well, it's 9, so 49ers by 7.
Okay, I don't. It doesn't matter.
They do not cover.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 7. I want to be 7, all right? You get it.
I agree wholeheartedly with that, River.
Ditto. I don't think they cover. I think they win. It's gonna be closer than people think. I think you're right. They're deep. This is a really good team. They will have their hiccup. This is going to be a good test for him. If Stafford looked like he was Stafford of old. I mean, there weren't that many quarterbacks that went over 300 yards. I know him. There was Tua. I don't know if anybody else eclipsed 300 yards. Maybe Cousins, because he always does. But there wasn't a lot of passes or offenses that looked squared away. This was one of them. But the Niners are stacked. I think 3-7, somewhere in there. Niners cover. Just too many weapons, but the Rams are going to give them, especially at home, the Rams are going to give them hell. Striker?
So I think the Seahawks played a really terrible game last week. I think they got zero pressure on Stafford, which allowed him to look like a good quarterback. I think Seattle got punched in the mouth and didn't know how to react because they were up it initially and then went down. But what they couldn't do was get any pressure on Stafford whatsoever, and that is a killer. Because anytime you can't get pressure on an NFL quarterback, he's going to make plays. It's going to happen, right? So San Francisco can bring the heat. There's zero question in my mind San Francisco will not have a awesome pass rush and an awesome defense. I mean, they basically are rolling out nearly all their defense from last year on the front seven. And with the exception of a cornerback or two, they're basically rolling out the starting 11, right? They're going to bring the heat. This isn't going to be close in my book. I'm going to give the Niners by 14, and I think that may be under.
That was Striker, our weatherman in the sky.
Yeah, sorry, I was in front of my fan apparently. So that was Niners by 14.
No problem. Dova says 14 in chat. Y'all crazy. Rams are
Who's
plucky.
winning by 14?
Dova said it in chat.
Hold on. What did you say, Strike?
Niners by 14.
And you may be right, brother, to be honest. But I don't think the Rams are going to be that bad. I think they're going to give them a game. I really do. But I think in the end, the 49ers will stop them a couple of times to give them that victory. And you're right. They may just cover, but I'm going to go with a 7.
The problem is that the 49ers have a 4-letter player on the defensive line. So Stafford's going to be drawn to throw the ball to Bosa.
There you go.
And that's probably going to be the difference. He's going to be like, I got Cups out, so who's the 4-letter player? Pick 6.
There's a Bosa.
There's a Bosa. All right, our next game, and Harley also says 49ers by 7. So good. We have Niners fans in the house.
Fuck, I hate the Niners. Are you kidding me?
Bad Striker.
Sorry. I hate the Niners, but I'm a Seahawks fan.
That's 2.
I'm a Seahawks fan, so.
Look
All
here,
right.
Striker. You and I got to have some words, dog.
Yeah.
I'm the cusser in this group, right? You can't take that title from me.
Our next game we're going to talk about is the Cardinals playing the...
Wow. Look, the Cowboys made Jones look like he didn't deserve one penny of his contract. Let's be honest. However, I don't think that's the normal day in, day out for the Giants or Jones. If there's a game to bounce back on, this is the game for him to bounce back on, right? Cardinals didn't look too great either. Who's their quarterback again?
Not the little man. They have a full-size quarterback. They have a fun-size quarterback.
Oh, they have Dobbs, huh? His 70% completion rate of 132 yards thrown. I mean,
Did he know?
He
He
threw 32
doesn't know.
passes for an
Hey
average of
guys,
3 yards.
there's wide receivers on your team. Did you know that? Really? I did not know that.
Thing is, he doesn't throw to anybody above the number 40.
Okay, that's funny. I'm sorry, but that's actually a really good joke.
Yeah, they no longer have really anybody at receiver, right? Rondale Moore is there. 50-50 is still there, but I don't see it as anything big or great.
But it's in Arizona.
Perfect game for the Giants to bounce back on, and I think they will. Look, you as a football team, man, you take a 40-0 or whatever it was, shellacking. The next game, you're coming out hungry and mad. You're really coming out mad, and you want to hit somebody, and you want to make a difference. You want to lay a statement down that you're not that team that gets beat 40-0. I've been on the end of that, man. We've gotten our butts beat, and the next week our team reacts in a big way. I think the Giants will come out that way. These are proud people. They're all professionals, and they're not taking a 40-0 beating lightly. Unfortunately for the Cardinals, they don't have the firepower to stop what's coming at them. I think the Giants come out and win big, but how big? What's the spread?
5.5 to the Giants.
Oh, I think the Giants come out here. They'll cover the spread, but I'm thinking a 10+ point win. You heard it, but going with beating the spread.
All right.
The Giants.
So,
The New York Giants.
Go ahead, Trey.
Yeah, this is a weird one for me. I just don't.
The word is
I'm
care.
with-
The word is care.
Yeah, the word is care. I mean, Daniel Jones is a terrible quarterback. Let's not even kid ourselves on that one. But unfortunately, they are where they are. I just don't think the Giants take the shellacking they took last week laying down. Like, there is no way that they take that. And so I'm with Rip. I think the Giants are going to win this one. What's the line? 5.5. I'll give the Giants at 7. Is kind of where I sit at the moment. But I don't see Arizona having enough. The little peoples without little people having enough. And yeah, I just don't care. I mean, Saquon Barkley, maybe Connor I care about, but that's about it.
Yeah, they don't have fantasy relevance, and they played. Again, so the question is, how much better is the Giants than the Commanders in my head, right? And based on week 1, they're not. they're not. Now, is Daniel Jones? I don't like Daniel Jones. I think it was stupid to get him an extension. He's a limited quarterback, right? He is not a franchise quarterback. I don't care what you say. He's not going to suddenly develop into a super duper passer. Like last year was the top end for Daniel Jones. He scrambles a lot, which you don't want, and he throws for 3,000 yards and 10, 15 touchdowns. Which isn't going to get it done unless you have a superstar defense. So if you're running the Giants will take a little step up. I don't think they cover 5 points, man. I think the Giants will win more because the Cards aren't that good. And I think if Arizona had the diminutive one back there, they might win. But with their quarterback they have and no wide receivers and really just James Conner, I think this is a get well game for the Giants. I think it's only 3 points, though. I don't think they cover.
Man, sorry, I don't know if I'm interrupting, but look how many quarterbacks. It's so awful. Daniel Jones is 104 yards, 2 interceptions. Like, I get it, the Cowboys deep, but there was a lot of quarterbacks. It's just really, really bad. What a weird week.
It was the rain.
Sure, we'll go with that.
I mean, that's what they said.
I mean, to Daniel Jones' credit, though, he did have 13 carries for 43 yards. He outpaced Barkley.
But that's not. How is that helping? Like, name the quarterback who had 60 yards that won. It's Lamar, right?
I was just trying to find a positive for Daniel Jones.
Oh, okay. I mean, again, they're all pros. They all got better arms than any of us. I don't feel bad for anybody who's making millions of dollars, but he's just not. He's not an elite talent. He's not. So.
Well, his paycheck says otherwise.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you can throw the ball like he can, the NFL's going to take a shot on you. And frankly, there aren't even 32 good quarterbacks. So.
But if you look at the guy, no, because I don't believe that. I don't think there's 32 prototypical quarterbacks, right? Guys like Kurt Warner exist. The problem is that people are enamored by things like arm talent. If you can make all the throws and you're accurate, and you've got a good clock and good decision making, you're a better quarterback than any guy with a cannon who can't the broadside of a barn.
Yep.
Right. That's what they miss, and I don't know how all the scouts. And I guess it's because it's intangible, right? Because the clock in your head, seeing people get rid of the ball quick and making the right reads and the right decision, that's the most important thing. Because quarterbacks, and this is probably why Baker doesn't do as well at the pro level, because quarterbacks are supposed to throw to spots. They're not sitting there waiting for the play and go, oh, this guy's open, because the speed is too quick. The closing distance is too quick. If you look to see a guy making a break and saying he's open and throwing the ball, it's going to get pick sixed, right? No matter how strong your arm is. So you're throwing people open, and that requires accuracy and touch. And there's just a lot of quarterbacks that don't have it, that are starting quarterbacks, but they've got great legs. And I think that's where you see the Mahomes, and you see a guy who runs the ball, and you go, we want a guy who runs the ball, and it is a great extra dimension if you have a great quarterback that runs like Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes can stay in the pocket and win games and win Super Bowls. And when he runs, it just adds to his game. Then there's players like like Jones that it subtracts from their game. He can't stay in the pocket. He has to run. And I think even Murray's sort of the same way. Murray's a freakish talent. He's only an okay quarterback. So that's my take. What do you guys think? You're the coach.
Look, man. Well, talent is talent, right? And talent comes in different forms, right? Different teams look for different stuff. So I'm the type of coach that likes a quarterback that can run and throw, right? Some coaches like a quarterback that relies more on a great line that'll form a pocket, and the quarterback can stand in the pocket and can kind of move in and out of that pocket and get the ball out, right? Buy you a lot of time, hit your receivers. But you're 100% right. You're not waiting till the end of the route to throw the ball, because by that point your DBs have caught up, especially in the NFL, where DBs are running 4 point something, right?
Yeah.
So it is a lot of timing patterns per se. Troy Aikman was one of the greatest quarterbacks for timing patterns. He was really good at that. But he was throwing to spots, right? Like, you better be there, and that's where he was throwing it. A lot of quarterbacks nowadays, the game is a little bit different, right? We call it windows, right? So you're throwing into windows, and you're anticipating when that receiver will be in that window. But we teach our quarterbacks, every receiver is different. Sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Every receiver has different speed, different stuff. So we rate our receivers by 1, 2s, and 3s. 1 being the fastest, 2 being mid, 3 being slower, right? So that my quarterback in his head, when he knows what every route people are running. He's going through his progression. He's looking at that window. He knows it's a 1, when to throw, how to throw faster, blah, blah, blah. All that is quarterback mechanics, right? They're all professionals, like Stryker said. So all of them have quarterback mechanics that they wouldn't be in the NFL, period. These are all good athletes, good quarterbacks. The problem is, in college, the game is different. In college, you don't have all your DBs running 4 point something. You don't have all the best DBs. Every professional team has really good athletes, bro. They're professionals. They're there for a reason. So the game changes, and you have quarterbacks that have to catch up to the game. A quarterback like Daniel Jones, he's got a lot of talent, man, and his feet get him out of trouble a lot on bad plays. That's the kind of quarterback I have right now. Broken play, my quarterback will get us out of it because his feet are, he can run the ball. Unfortunately for Daniel Jones, I think that he's more of I have to be moving around to get the ball going, and when he's stuck in that pocket, it's just not there for him, and he doesn't have the weapons for it. What does he have in his receiver core that looks impressive right now? Look at his team.
Yeah, I guess the flip side of that is like Fields. Like that's what they said, is he didn't have enough weapons, so they went out and they got a bunch of weapons, and then he still didn't throw it to him. So
because Fields is a run happy quarterback. He doesn't. That's okay. Again, back to the coaching chair. I had to break my current quarterback from the I want to run first stuff to, hey, go through your progressions, look for the throw, and if it's not there, then you run. I think Fields is just his own self clock is fast. Like, oh no, I gotta go. They're gonna get me. Boom. He sees a lane.
Ball 1001 out.
Well, yeah, he sees the run lane and he takes it for 7 yards instead of seeing the pass lane, which can get him 37 yards, right? So I don't know. They're all professionals, though, man. You expect, especially, listen, there aren't people passing out checks for no reason. This isn't the NBA where you're paying people on their potential. These are proven commodities, and they're paying people money because they should be better, right? They are better, and that's what they're paying for. Daniel Jones had a good season, but what's the alternative to Daniel Jones right now? What other quarterback? Are you going to go get your a Dobbs or the guy over there in Atlanta? No. Daniel Jones is in that. He's not in the top 2-tier quarterback levels, but he's in that mid tier with everybody else. And that, if you give him the right kind of weapon, should be enough to win games. Unfortunately, it wasn't his first week, but it will be against the them guys.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at who they got on their roster, Tyrod Taylor and Tommy DeVito are the other two.
Tommy DeVito, nice.
Good old Tyrod.
Rookie out of Illinois, and Tyrod, the corpse of Taylor.
All you need to do is just run after him with a needle, and he freaks out. Gets in the fetal position.
God, that's a story and a half right there.
Terrible, dude. Terrible. Okay, our next game's going to be the Cowboys and the Jets, so get ready. You and Uncle Rico need to have a moment.
I have not talked to him today, so... but he was saying that he's going to let... that's his idea, is to let it ride.
Against the Cowboys, though?
Listen, bro. I'm not about to tell him Cowboys are going to win, because if I ever see him, I will see him Thanksgiving, he'll probably stab me. So we're going to go with, let's just let him be, right? I'm going to let him be this week. I'm not even going to talk to him, because it's probably not good for me. One of these days off air, I'll tell you what he used to do as a profession. So.
Oh, okay. So there's some real fear.
He's from South Texas. Let's just go with that.
All right.
Border town, South Texas. Anyways, this one is a no-brainer.
So we dug tunnels? Is that what we're saying?
No, we're not saying that at all. We're moving on.
You can't dig tunnels in Laredo, buddy. The river's there, unless you want to flood yourself. I don't think you can dig under a river. Or can you?
You can. If you dig far enough, yes, but,
But then you'll end up in China.
Wow.
Well, you've never heard that?
No, I have. I'm just being a smartass.
Oh. So anyways, Jets-Cowboys. The Jets looked good against the Bills. They really did. But unfortunately for the Jets, their offense didn't look great against the Bills, in my opinion. And they're playing the Cowboys, whose defense came off a big win. Looks big, looks good. I think they will manhandle the Jets offense. That's for sure. The flip side of all that is Dakota playing against the Jets defense. The Jets defense did have a lot of picks. And if we all know one thing, Dakota loves to throw picks on the fourth quarter. So, hopefully the Cowboys defense outscores the Jets. Does that make sense?
Yes. The problem is the Cowboys are favored by 9.
Oof. Yes. Yes, they are, huh?
Yeah, these guys are good at this thing.
That's a tough one, man. Well, yeah, that's how they make you lose money, right? Like, they're going to give it to you right there. Like, ooh, you almost had it. Nope, sorry. Man, this is a tough one. I do believe the Cowboys are going to win. I'm a little on the fence whether they cover or not at 9. But I think Dakota will manage the game well enough to not give away too many points. And the Cowboys defense will score a couple times. So I'm going to go with Cowboys by 10. Cowboys by 10. Final answer.
Go ahead, Striker.
So I just don't know. I don't see how the Cowboys cover is the problem I run into here. That 9.5 or 9 is just a rough number. I think the Cowboys win it, but I think it's a touchdown. Jets are going to be good. Zach Wilson's going to have a week to actually game plan versus having to come in and do what they're going to do. I think the Cowboys are a good team. Do I think they're what we saw against the Giants as much as the Giants just sucked last week? I think the Giants just sucked last week, and the Cowboys had the perfect game plan for it. So I think the Cowboys win. I think it's by 7. I don't think the spread gets covered.
Watch Robert, the coach of the Jets, Salia, whatever his last name is. Watch him. When Rodgers went down, he grabbed his ankle and he looked at the coach and he shook his head. And look in his eyes. And
looked like somebody had just killed his kid.
And then he literally looked over like, who's my backup quarterback? And you could see the gears turn. Like my Super Bowl season just went away, and it's true. Like what happened to this team in a heartbeat? You went from a quarterback who, again, Ripper thinks he was too old, but 2 years ago he was a league MVP. Last year he was okay. He wasn't great. He was okay, but he's far better than Wilson. Even the touchdown he threw to Garrett Wilson, he hit the defender. He didn't hit his own wide receiver, and the wide receiver just made a great catch. They're gonna be the Cowboys' defense is elite. You have an elite defense. It's probably up there 1-2 somewhere in there now in the league, and you've got a run game in Tony Pollard. You've got backup running backs. You've got Lamb as a quarterback. You have all the parts. You guys, the problem is the Jets' defense is really good, and the question is how many times does Wilson turn the ball over, and how many times does Dak? Like if you get one of those games where you're last days, you're up by 6, and you just take out the clock, it doesn't, you're still gonna win. That's the only fear I have. I think that the Cowboys. I'm gonna go Cowboys 10. I think you cover. I think Dakota, again, you're going to be right in that sweet spot of making the playoffs. And the question is really for you guys every year, right? Is you've got a great defense and a great team. Can Dakota get you to the Super Bowl? And I think we all know that answer. You've said it out loud. So I think the Cowboys win by 10. I think the Jets are not going to, again. I think if Wilson was out and Rodgers was in, I think the Jets would have won this one. But he's not.
Yeah. Let's go with that. Sorry, Uncle Rico.
Yeah. The Broncos are hosting the Commanders.
Oh, boy. Let's go look at how Sweet Pickles boy, the driver of the Sweet Pickles bus, future driver, see how he did. 79%, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. Wow. So
check down Charlie.
Yardage, but he kept it.
He didn't throw a pick.
He managed well. He did. He didn't show picks. No picks.
Yeah, I know he didn't throw a pick. That gets you a pat on the back in Peyton's offense.
It saves him from a soap beating. Yes, it does. He will not get beat in the locker room this season. Not yet, anyways. Williams, the running back, did all right. This game here. Who did the Broncos play last week? They played the Raiders. Lost 17-16 to the Raiders. Wow.
Jimmy G.
I think the Raiders are a better team than the Commandos. I do believe that the defense for the Commandos is not bad. They will give Russell Wilson a challenge, but Russell Wilson did not throw a pick, which is very impressive right now. I still believe he should be in the Sweet Pickles retirement bus. But what's the spread before I make a dumb decision?
Broncos 3.5.
Oh wow, really?
Yes.
That's a coin flip at home basically, because isn't home 3-point advantage normally?
Yeah, 3. They give that 3.5, so you don't cover. I want to say Broncos win this one. I believe they have a well enough team to win. 3.5 though, the spread, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna have to say Broncos. How do you do it? Like I could go Broncos and not the spread, but I'm gonna say Broncos by 4. So I'm going with Broncos and they cover the spread against the Commandos.
Good, right?
Which pretty much translates into Commanders winning.
Yeah. So where I come down to is.
Wait, you said Broncos by 4.
Yeah, I'm going with the Broncos, but I've been wrong all last week, so
okay.
pretty much the Commanders are winning.
So Denver got absolutely 0 pass rush last game. They had 2 sacks total. The Commanders, on the other hand, allowed 6 sacks against the Cardinals. So the question to me is, can Denver get more pass rush, more pressure? Because if they do that, I think it's Denver, no questions asked. I'm just not sure they do it against the Commanders. Now, Sam Howell is a really, really interesting quarterback because he got himself absolutely blown up last week at one point. Like he turned and tried to tuck his head and just got smoked by I mean, there's no other way to put it. He looked like he was going to be the Teddy Bridgewater hit from a few years back there for a second. thankfully popped up and life was good, right?
Those young bones.
Right, and the young brains. But 3.5 in Denver. I think the Broncos by 4, but man, this is just one of those that I think it's whoever's got the ball last is the one that wins the game. And I just think it's gonna be Denver because they're at home.
By 4?
By 4, I think we're gonna go Broncos by 4 across the board. I think the Broncos are a better team. They're at home. They're mile high. Wilson didn't look terrible, which is a step up. I don't believe Sam Howell is going to do well against the defense. So, I mean, he didn't look great against the Cardinals, which is a lot worse defense than the Broncos. So I think the Broncos, they win 5-0. So, or 4-0. 2 safeties.
Hey, they did have some baseball scores last season, so.
Well, they had a baseball season. I mean, they had 16-17 for God's sakes. Their defense is like, for God's sakes, score 20 points, we'll win. So.
Hey, but Wilson did not throw a pick.
He did not throw a pick. Well, that's because Peyton said he would, gut him like a fish.
Oh, wait a minute. It's because Payson got him LASIK, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You get the relation,
Exactly.
don't you? Get it.
All right, our next game we're going to do is the Dolphins and the Patriots.
Dolphins by 2.5, really? Wow.
Is that really the spread?
That's the line.
Okay, I guess they want to get some. This is like Walmart. They want to get some foot traffic in,
Right?
No, just the suckers. I think the Dolphins win this one. Let's just start off with that. The Patriots don't look good. They've got a running back that's 2 donuts shy of being a guard in the NFL in Ezekiel Elliott.
who fumbled.
Yes, he did.
I understand that puts you in the doghouse in New England.
Yeah. Didn't he did something else? I don't remember what it was. Anyways. Again, the Dolphins win. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one. Mac Jones doesn't look great to me. He did throw. I mean, yes and no, right? He threw a pick that was an ugly pick. He did have good yardage and 3 touchdowns, right? You can't say he looked horrible, but I don't know what it is about the Patriots that I'm just not convinced with, man. I don't know that I'm not sold on them or whatnot. Just something doesn't look right with the Patriots to me. And I know I'm going to be wrong, but I don't think they beat the Dolphins. I think the Patriots will be fine this season. I just, however, don't see them beat the Dolphins. I think Tua looked pretty darn good. 466, 3 touchdowns and a pick, but he looked good. He did not take any head trauma, so there's that. Tyreek Hill was on fire. 11 receptions, 215, 2 touchdowns. Waddle had 4 for 78. The team looked good, bro. It really did. The only thing that I would say is the running game, right? Mustard had 10 attempts for 37 yards. A 3.7 yard average isn't great for a running back, but it is what it is. He did have a touchdown. Defensively, I think the Dolphins are not what they should be anyways. I thought they'd have a way better pass defense especially, but it's not there right now. I still think the Dolphins win this. Well, wait, what was the spread? I know.
Like nothing. It was like 2 points, right?
2 points. Wow.
2.5.
Right.
2.5.
Dolphins by a field goal.
Dolphins by a field goal? Wow. That low, huh?
Well, it's 2.5. I just got to
It
cover
doesn't,
the
it just,
spread.
exactly. It doesn't matter if they win by 30 if you pick 3.
So I will tell you, for me, why I think Dolphins are going to be better is than the 3. I think it's going to be Dolphins by 7. We'll just throw that out up front. I actually probably could go as high as 14 because I just think Miami's that good this year. But New England's offensive line, I mean, they've got half their offensive line out on injuries right now. And oh, by the way, the 2 wide receivers that they have that are halfway decent are currently limited also. So, yeah, they literally have 3 guards, a tackle, and their center are all questionable on injury report. And I know Bill Belichick does weird things, but that's a lot of offensive linemen to have in a questionable situation. So
That's very questionable.
it is.
Hardly as vibing with your picks, Ripper. So, good job.
I'm vibing with your vibe of my vibey picks.
So
Buddy disconnected from your channel.
and she's out.
I vibe too hard.
the Patriots lost to the Eagles. I guess that's why they're given the line. And they only lost by, what, 5 points, 25-20? Is that what the score was? I guess I don't see it. I see nothing that says the only thing that I see is if Bill Belichick's idea is to give to a concussion right off the bat, like in the locker room, just bing. I don't see it. Like what on earth on week 1 did you see? I don't think you keep up with the Dolphins. The Dolphins would love that. Like if you want to try to outscore us, well, we just took out the Chargers. They've got a real quarterback.
Right.
We dropped 38 on them, like even without a running game and a tight end. We'll just throw it to Hill 5 times. I think this was going to be a bloodbath. I will do Dolphins 3 as well, but I think they'll more than cover. The next one we're going to do is the Saints at the Panthers, and the Saints are favored by 3.
Saints at the Panthers. Let's look at this.
Early Monday night game. That's a weird one.
There's 2 Monday night games, yeah.
Yeah, but they're only an hour apart, which is the weird part.
Oh, that is weird.
I guess you got to choose if you're a Raiders fan or not. I mean, a Saints fan or not, man, I'm all confused. FYI, I don't have COVID, but I am sick. So, Saints at the Panthers. Rookie quarterback, right? Chris Young. 140. Another quarterback that threw under 200 yards, 146, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. He didn't do great, that's for sure. Miles Sanders looked okay as a running back. Man, just looking at this, neither team looked exceptionally great, other than Derek Carr throwing for 305, 1 touchdown, a pick. Everybody was so big on Jamal Williams, thinking he was going to tear it up. And, he did not. Olave looked great. So did Shaheed. This game in itself, man, I think the Panthers with a rookie quarterback will struggle against the Saints. Saints defense is a little strong this season. What's the spread on this one? Sorry. Anyone?
Saints by
3.
3.
I definitely think the Saints will cover. I think Saints by 7 on this one. The defense will be a little too strong for that rookie quarterback. The run game isn't great on either team, but Derek Carr is the better quarterback. And I think that's an elite. And the better receiving core is with the Saints, in my opinion. So Saints by 7.
Go ahead, Striker.
So I end up, I think the Saints by 7, and it's not because I think the Saints are good. I think Bryce Young is about to have a very ugly year learning curve wise. He did not look good in the game, but more importantly, and this is the part where I really don't like where Bryce Young is this year. He had a clean pocket and he still sucked. He had clean throws and he still could not hit who he needed to hit or throw it where he needed to hit. And I think that's kind of a function of Alabama playing teams that are of a lesser caliber. And so he didn't have to get used to the tough guys, right? So he didn't have to get used to the NFL level guys. He didn't have to learn how to compete. And he'll get there. I have no doubt believing he'll get there, but I just don't think he's there yet. And so for me, Saints by 7, and I think that's probably low. I think Carolina's in for a tough year. So
How much did you say, Ripper?
7.
Well, I guess
Saints by 7.
we'll be again. It's at the beginning of the year. I thought the Panthers were gonna make some moves, and it's not working out for them. Like the wide receivers they picked up, they're hurt. The quarterback play is not good. The team's it's just not a good team. Like they had a chance to get a franchise quarterback for a reason, right? They weren't very good last year. They're still not turning around. I wasn't super duper impressed with the Saints either. But they did throw the ball. They did move the ball down the field, which I think is enough to win by 7 on this one. So Saints by 7. Last game, Steelers hosting the Browns.
Oh, it's a rivalry game, right?
Correct. And the Browns are favored by 2.5.
The Browns, huh? Let me look at this one real quick. See how bad the Steelers did last week. Well, I wasn't a big believer in
Pickett?
Harris.
No.
Pickett either, to be honest. He didn't do too great either. 232. He did better than the average quarterback week 1, but he had 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Najee Harris, I didn't believe in. I thought Warren will end up being. I still think Warren will end up being the starter eventually, just not yet. They lost their top receiver, which is bad, and I think he's gone for 4 weeks or more. So they're in a lot of trouble. The Browns, on the other hand, which I don't feel like I was 100% wrong on. I didn't believe Chubb would have a big season, which I could be wrong on and probably will be. I don't believe Watson will have a big season. He had 154 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. He did rush for 45 yards and a touchdown, which is great, but I still don't think Watson will, those are Baker Mayfield numbers, if you ask me. I still think he'll eventually be out of Cleveland and just be a journeyman somewhere or not. But his season I still don't believe in that guy. And karma will catch up to him. There's only so many massages you can take, inappropriate massages, before luck catches up to you. So,
wait, Andrew Luck's around?
With all that said, I do believe the Cleveland Browns will beat the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. I don't think the Steelers, they're in trouble, man. They lost their top receiver. The only thing really going for the Steelers is TJ Watt, right? Like, he tore it up. I don't think that's going to be enough to beat the Browns, though. And the Browns, wait, what's the spread?
3.5.
3.5.
2.5. I'm sorry, 2.5.
Oh, Browns by 3 then. Browns cover.
Cleveland 2.5 in Pittsburgh. Interesting. Yeah, I don't. I think Pittsburgh could be good. I just don't see it this week. And I don't mean good. I mean good enough. I mean, Pickett threw the ball 46 times. He had 2 picks, but he also got sacked 5 times. So, he was definitely not being able to stay clean in his pocket by any stretch of the imagination. I think Cleveland's good enough. I think they've got enough talent to be able to grind one out. I'm going to go Cleveland by 3, but I just don't think Cleveland is. I think if we were to play this game in like week 6, week 7, I think Pittsburgh takes it. I just don't think they're there yet. So.
I mean, the Steelers are a well-coached team. They're at home. They just got embarrassed by the 49ers. The Browns are no 49ers, right? It's growing pains with their quarterback. Pickett's not a high draft pick. It's not like Ben Roethlisberger. He's learning. He's going to go through his growing pains. On the flip side, the Browns, they can play some defense, right? They ran the ball. Watson ran the ball, and he was efficient throwing the ball. I think that's enough. It's enough to cover in Pittsburgh. This is one I wouldn't be shocked to see the Steelers win. Because I don't. Again, it's a rivalry game. It's in Pittsburgh. They were embarrassed, so I could see them, playing inspired and taking this one. But the better team right now, I think, is the Browns. So, stop Browns. And Daniel also agrees the Browns should win, right, Daniel?
Well, there you go.
All right, so that's our games. Any saved, any cool fantasy advice?
Fantasy this week? Don't start Pickett. Don't start Wilson against the Cowboys.
Is there a defense that you would target this week, and if so, which one is it?
Ooh, let me look at the schedule and I'll tell you right now. Aside from the Cowboys, because I do think they're going to have a good game, and that's not a homer pick. I just think that defense is for real. But let me look at the schedule real quick, and I will tell you. Saints against the Panthers. I think the rookie there is going to throw a few picks, and I think the Saints defense is underrated right now. But by midseason, you'll see why I say the Saints defense is going to be really good. So I would say start the Saints against the Panthers.
Anyone for you, Strike?
Man, I'm looking at these games. I'd start the Cowboys against the Jets for sure, and I'd honestly probably take the Lions against the Seahawks. I just noticed Abraham Lucas their right tackle went on the IR a couple hours ago, which means they're not going to be able to just keep Geno upright, which, yeah.
Oh,
I think another one you might want to look at is Indianapolis against the Texans.
maybe.
I was
yeah.
looking hard at that one.
Not bad.
I think the Browns. I think the Browns defense is legit.
Nice.
So, all right, great week of picking games. Anything else for this week?
Don't believe the hype on Algier. You'll see what I mean soon. That's it.
I picked him up, so I believe the hype.
made it.
I just need a running back. That's I don't like at this point. My other running backs are getting like 0.5, so I need someone. All right, guys, it was a great show. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Good luck on your teams, and I hope you guys are right on the Jags.
See you next week.
All right.
Thanks, boys.
All right, boys. I got.